What's up, all my LJC family, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel, family. And I just want to thank y'all for all the love and support that y'all have been showing me. I am so excited, y'all, for this journey that I'm on. I just want to thank everyone who have subscribed to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe to Life with Jeanette. Go tell a friend, or tell a friend, or tell a friend to come on over to my channel. And I just want to thank everyone. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. But today's story time with Life with Jeanette, y'all, I have to tell y'all about my psycho neighbor. I did a video on this. It's been a while back. I kind of sort of talked about it, but y'all, woo, let me tell you, I think I was about 15. I had to be like 15 or 16. Well, anyway, my grandmother, I was living with my great grandma, and there was this, we had lived in there in her house. We had lived in that spot for probably, she had been living there, I know, probably 2 or 3 years. But right next door to her house, there was like some duplexes, or I don't even know if they was duplexes, but it was like two in the front and two in the back. So they was like duplexes. They was individual houses or whatever. And there was this man who lived right next door, right in the front of her house. And y'all, this man had a blue and green eye. And it was just something weird about this guy, y'all. This is my second video, and y'all, I'm in my nightgown, but I just wanted to go ahead and tell this story. But my Christmas nightgown. But hey, it's a nightgown, right? But anyway, it was always something weird about this man. I just don't know what it was. He would always speak. He would always, talk to my grandmother. My grandmother, she was old. So she really didn't go outside. She didn't really do too much. She would always either go from her bedroom to the living room and to the kitchen to the bathroom. That was it. Most of the time when you see my granny, you seen her sitting in her recliner, or you seen her sitting on her bed. And, she had like this in her house. She had like this porch, and on her porch she had a big old screen around the whole porch. So in order to get to the front door, you would have to go through the screen door, and then there would be her door. But there was no screen door on the front door, because I guess that was considered the screen door. But anyway, it was a big old porch. It went from one side of the house to the other. So my room was literally right next to this man's house. It was my room, and then it was his house. But it was just something about this man. It was just like every time you walk down the street, it was like he was sitting outside and he was watching you. And it was just like something weird. It was just like something weird was going on with this man. So I was just like, dang, what is going on with this man? It's just, he always looking. He always, he was just like, like at nighttime, like in the way my granny house was, like whenever you walk through the front door, it was her living room. And then she had a big old dining room area. And then if you, like in the dining room, if you turn to your left, you would be turning into the bedrooms and where the bathroom was at. Or if you kept straight, it was the kitchen, the laundry room, and the back door. But we would, to go to the restroom, you would have to turn left. There was her room, this big old room. It was open. She slept in that room. And then if you kept going to the left, my room was right there. And then when you go in her room and you go to the right, you'll go into another room, and then it was a bathroom way in the back. So every night I would go in my bathroom, in the bathroom, I would just get like this creepy feeling, like, some, like I'm being watched, like, it's like something, just like I'm being watched. So the curtains that my granny had up there, they was like, if I can remember, I know they was, I don't know if they was white or brown, but they was a, like a light color, like a see-through. They wasn't dark where you can't see through anything. But like when you go in there and use the restroom at nighttime, in the middle of the nighttime, or you go in there after you eat dinner or something, and brush your teeth and stuff, it was just a weird feeling every time. So I started thinking, like, is this man watching us, because he knew at that time that it was only me and my granny. He knew we was the only one staying there. There was other people would come over. She always had a lot of people come over, her family especially, because my granny used to cook, and everybody, would come to her house. And it was just this weird feeling every time you go use the restroom. So one day I get up and I have in my room, there's two windows. There's a window on the porch where the screen. So if you knocked on my window, you had to come through the screen door, and that screen was loud. You could hear everything through there. And then on the other side of the house, there was another window. Then it was my granny window, and then it was the other room window. So it was those three windows on the side plus the bathroom. And I'm laying in my bed, and I'm sitting there on the phone, because back then we was on the telephone. We weren't on no cell phone. We was talking on the house phones. So I'm talking on the phone. I don't even know who I was talking to. Ain't gonna even try to remember. But I'm on the phone. I do remember that. And I was talking to somebody. And I just got this feeling like, why do it feel like somebody watching me? And all of a sudden, I'm just like, I just feel weird. So I just got up. I got up, took the telephone, and my granny had this long cord. You could pull the phone all over the house. So she was laying in the bed, and I said, I'm going to the dining room, because when you go in the dining room, it ain't nothing you can really see through, because her window, it had this big old AC unit in the window where we used to have to go outside, spray the water on the AC unit. That's that West Texas stuff. You go out there, spray the water on there, and it cools off the whole house anyway. But I would go in there and sit down in a little chair, and I would talk on the phone. I was finished talking on the phone, but I never said anything, because it was just a feeling I kept getting. So I'm just like, why every time I come home, I get this weird feeling? So every night, after I kept getting these weird feelings, I'm just thinking now, like, hey, that's just probably me. But every night about 12 or 1 o'clock, you would hear like somebody knock on the screen, like knock on the front door, like the front part of the door. So you go to it, peek out the peephole, because she had a peek hole, and it was a window on the front door. There's nobody there. So I'm like, okay, now this is crazy. So every morning you get up and you leave, he's sitting on the porch. I don't care what time of day it is, he's sitting on the porch. Like, why are you always on the porch? You're never in the house. So I think I was asking somebody one day, like, did they know that man? And I'm not going to say his name on here, but they was like, yeah, we know who that is. That's such and such daddy. I'm like, who? That's my friend daddy? So I'm just like, wait a minute. So once I found out that was her daddy and her sisters and stuff, that was their daddy, I was just like, I asked him, I said, is this something weird about y'all daddy? And they were just like, that's why we ain't never over there. Our mama don't allow us to go over there, because it is something weird about him. So I'm just like, I knew something was weird about this man. And I used to hate to go places and leave my granny there by herself, because I didn't know what this man was weird. And it was just like, I'm just like, I mean, just looking at him, I mean, his eyes was beautiful. He had a green, it was two green and blue, green. It was two different colors, but they was pretty. He was light skinned. He had real pretty hair. But I'm just like, what in the world do this man just sits on the porch all day, all night, just sitting there? So I know one day I was coming from, we used to all, in the whole neighborhood, we used to have this recreation center. Everybody used to go there. So one day around, the recreation center didn't close till about like 9. But I think I started going home. It was like about 7. I think I went to the house to get something. He just sitting on the porch, just sitting there staring at you, just looking at you. I'm like, why is this man just staring and looking like? So I would just be like, hello. Oh, how you doing? How's your grandma doing? My grandma's doing fine. I'm doing fine. So I just thought it was, maybe maybe it was me, but it just something wasn't right about this man. So time went on and it was the same stuff over and over and over. And we had it was some other people moved in. They was like living in the back. And they was like, I can't remember, I think they was Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. They were Spanish people. But see, the way that the houses was made, like the houses in the front, and then it's the houses in the back. But the houses in the back, you don't never have to come to the front, because you could park like in the back and they do whatever it is, leave, go, whatever from the back. So they hardly never came to the front. But there was this one girl, she used to be back there, that was her family member. And I had walked outside one day, and I was getting ready, because my granny didn't have a gate. She didn't have a gate. It wasn't a gate behind her house. So when you walk out her door, it was like an alley. You go out, walk in the yard a little bit, and it's like an alley. And then you walk up the street, and it was like a store that she would always send us to go pick up stuff for her. They had like a tab or whatever. So I would go pick up stuff for her. But this day I was walking out the door, and the girl, she came up to me, and she was, we started talking. She asked me my name, and she told me that her family just had moved over there. She don't live there, but she be over there a lot, because that was, I think, her grandmother, her auntie house, or somebody. I can't remember. And she was asking me about the man in the front. And I say, girl, you got the same vibe I got. I don't know if I said vibe, because back then, I don't know if we were saying vibe or feelings, whatever it was. But I told her I had that same feeling about that man. And she was just like, that man, she say, I was sitting in the way that the houses, the duplexes wasn't real big. She said, I was sitting in the chair, and I could see him walking back and forward, like by y'all house, walking back and forth, back and forth. I say, I knew it was something that, she say, the only thing that she never seen him, when she was over there, she never would see him come toward the back of the house, toward the bathroom. And that's because our bathroom, there was no like gate. So our bathroom, you could look out the bathroom and see the next people, the other people duplex. So it wasn't no reason for him to come and try to be sneaking around, and them people was living there. So I know that kind of put a dent into whatever he was peeking Tom, or whatever he was doing at that time. So I just started thinking, like, every night I would go home from the recreation center or whatever. I was like, this is something wrong with this man. Well, anyway, I had got a little fast, and I started doing this and doing that, and I wound up getting pregnant. And, at the time of my pregnancy and stuff like that, things just started getting weirder. This man just started, he would just like, there was no sidewalks and nothing. So the man, when he would leave and cut across the yard. Like, you could just leave out your yard and go across your yard. Why you got to cut out the yard? But see, my granny had some real good neighbors, and the neighbors across the street, and then plus some of our friends, close friends. I did a story time on them. They grandparents lived across the street, and then there was some other people live right here across the street. They kept a good eye on my granny. So, if they seen anything, it was a go. It was a go for them. But they all loved her, and they all watched out for her. Even the house on the corner, I think it was a daycare. It was a daycare, and a lot of parents that go and drop their kids off early in the morning, they would tell us anything that they seen. They would tell the lady, and because the lady would always say, hey, that's Miss Miller down there, and that's who we take care of in that house right there. My granny had one of them big old. It was a big old house, and all of the houses was nice on that street. And one morning I was getting up, and I think I was about 6 months. I think I was like 6 months pregnant. And I went outside. I had got me some Kool-Aid. My granny used to make this Kool-Aid, y'all. And she made it. It tasted like, I ain't gonna even lie, Powerade. It was Powerade. And she didn't play about her sugar. She knew where her sugar was at, if you was in her sugar. So once she made her Kool-Aid, you better drink it like it is. So I had got so used to drinking the Kool-Aid, it just became a thing. Like, hey, I'm finna go get me some something to drink. So I went, I got me something to drink, and I think Granny made some tea cakes too. I got me a tea cake. I went and I sat out on the porch. So I'm sitting out on the porch, and I'm just sitting there, and I say, where is this man coming from? He coming like from around this way, which, like I say, I don't remember nothing being on that side of the house, but her driveway, but you could just walk through, there was no gate, so you just walk through. So he come walking from around there, like, why are you cutting across, all the way across the porch? And like, this man would do some weird stuff. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating my tea cake. And it scared me because I heard it, like, there's a whole bunch of rocks right there. So I heard it, and I looked up, and I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing, such and such and such? He's like, oh, I'm doing good. I just walked from the store, and I had to get me this, and I think I'm going to get to see my kids this weekend. And he was just really talking and really talking. So I say, oh, well, that's good. If you get to see your kids, they get to come back. I had already had heard from some of his kids that they mother wouldn't allow them to come over there. So I didn't know if he had some other kids besides them. So, he was saying he was thinking that his kids and his grandkids was going to come over. Excuse me, y'all. That was nasty. Come over, and he was going to get to see them. So I'm just sitting there. He go in the house, and I'm just like, this man got to be lonely, because he stayed on the porch all the time, watching. So I'm coming home one night. It's about, no, it had to have been after 9, because the recreation center closed at 9. So the man across the street, when I get to the house, he say, go and check on, what'd he say? Oh no, my granny pastor had just left. So he was just like, Miss Miller pastor and them just left. He saying, go take Miss Miller this. They had something for her. I don't remember what it was. He said, go take Miss Miller this plate and tell Miss Miller if she ever need anything to give us a call. She got our number and everything. And I was like, okay. I'm walking across the street, and I see the man coming from on the side of the house. I'm like, okay, well, he must be coming from the back of the neighbor's house. And I'm just like, why is he coming from the back of the house like that? This man was a psycho. He was a psycho. So anyway, I think time went on, and that man still was there, still was psycho, still watch you, still coming knocking on our door at 12 at nighttime, not saying nothing. I don't know if he was running back home or what, watching through the bathroom windows and stuff like that. But at that point in time, they weren't calling the police and stuff like that. And I never said nothing to nobody. So I had asked my granny one day, like, do that man seem weird to you? And she was just like, oh, you don't be talking about people. You're not supposed to be, she was just, my granny just didn't play. But anyway, she used to always tell me I shouldn't be talking about people. I shouldn't be saying things about people. I don't know that, just I don't know him. And my granny was like, I don't talk to him, but you don't be saying things about people. And I'm just like, okay. So, I just left it alone. And I had my baby. Once I had my baby, time passed. Once I had my baby, I think my baby was a couple of months, almost a year, y'all. And my mama and my daddy had came down from Austin, came from to Abilene from Austin, and they had wanted to take my baby back, bring my baby back to Austin, for a couple of weeks, give me a little break or whatever. I ain't never been away from my baby, and it was just crazy. And I kept saying no, and then I said yeah, then I said no, then I said yeah. So finally, when I made up my mind and they talked me into it, I'm just like, okay, I'll let him go for a couple of weeks. They say, well, as soon as you go to missing him, or we'll bring him back. And I'm just like, okay, y'all. I was like, okay. So I packed up his clothes and I got his stuff ready. And they said, well, we leaving tomorrow. So this was about 8 o'clock, because I know they left at night. And I tell y'all, they came, they got my baby. And I cried and cried and cried and cried. I just felt so, I just felt like my heart just had got ripped out of my chest. I just cried and I just cried. And my granny was so mad, because my granny used to sit there and just hold him all the time and just look at him. And she was, how they would set on him. Oh, I used to have to sneak and give him a bath. I used to have to sneak and get water. I used to have to sneak and do this, because they were set in their ways. Like, you ain't supposed to be bathing him. You ain't supposed to be doing this. So I used to have to sneak and do a lot of things. So, I just wanted, I just had needed a break. So I say, I'm just crying and crying. So I finally lay down and go to sleep. Let me tell y'all, I woke up and 2 eyes were standing over me. I went to screaming and hollering, and I ran up out that room. And my granny said, girl, what's wrong with you? I said, somebody in that room. Ain't nobody in that room. You let that baby leave, and you'd have been crying, and you seeing stuff and all this other stuff. So yeah, you just get over there and lay down. So I'm laying up in here, and I'm just like, I know for a fact what I seen. I know I seen that this man was standing over me. I know I seen it. I know I seen it. This man had been broken in through the window, and I had, because me, I'm always careful. I'm always closing and locking windows and stuff. But this night, I just laid in the bed crying and crying and crying, and I was just so hurt. They, I let them take my baby or whatever. So the next morning, I wake up, and the phone was in the room. Couldn't call nobody because the phone was in the room, and I wasn't finna go back in there. So I get up. I go in the room, I get the phone, and I say, I move the curtains back. Sure enough, the screen was all the way over, like kind of like in the next, in the middle of the yard. Say, Granny, I told you somebody was in this room last night. The window was unlocked. I told you somebody was in this room last night. So my granny say, well, call the police. So I called the police, and the police like, it wasn't nothing they can do, because they don't know how long it's been. And the fingerprints are probably gone, because I think it had rained. It had rained or something. And they didn't know how long it had been or whatever. Y'all, at this point, I'm just like, I'm really going crazy. Like, I told you. So I told my granny, I said, Granny, you wasn't scared? She said, I wish he would have crossed and opened up that door. She said, I would have blew his head off. Her granny had a shotgun. Granny had some type of gun. It was, I don't even know what it was called. But when she was saying, if he would have came through that door, she would have blew his head off. And me, I'm just so crazy, y'all. I went and slept on the other side of my granny at the next window, that the man had went through. And I know it was him. I know it was him. I know it was him. Can't nobody tell me it wasn't him. I know it was that man. And he started being all weird. He started acting all weird. He started just like right after that incident happened, that man didn't sit on his porch no more. That man stayed in his house. That man just, you didn't hardly see that man no more. And I knew it was him. I knew it was him. I don't care. Nobody can't tell me nothing different. That man was something else. And I had told somebody, I told one of my uncles, or I told somebody, and they went over there and they confronted him. I don't know if it was I don't remember who it was. I told somebody, and they went over there and they confronted him. And nah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I wouldn't do them like that. I wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't do this. And they're just going on. He just saying this and saying that. Well, after that incident happened, after you get confronted, we didn't see you no more. You stayed in that house. We didn't see you walking no more. We didn't see anything. You used to be on that porch 24/7 unless you was probably asleep, using the restroom, eating, or walk to the store. Other than that, that man was on that porch. But y'all, I'm telling y'all, it is some psychos out there. Y'all need to be careful. Watch your surroundings. When you start seeing these signs, know them signs. Just imagine if I hadn't opened my eyes and woke up and seen his eyes looking at me, and I wouldn't have started hollering and screaming for my granny. Just imagine what could have happened. Just imagine. But I'm so grateful and thankful that my baby wasn't in that room. And people today still don't understand, like, I don't sleep good at nighttime. I don't sleep good unless somebody else is with me right by my side, or somebody in the house with me, because I don't feel comfortable, and I still just never have been comfortable after that. And I was a teenager then. I'm 47 years old. So be careful. Watch your surroundings. Watch what people are doing. Watch how people look at you. Just watch people. Watch. If you don't do nothing else, watch. If you see something that you know ain't right, it ain't right. If you think it ain't right, it ain't right. You ain't got to confront every situation, because every situation don't need a reaction. You don't need to react on everything. Just watch your surroundings. Know who you dealing with. Know where you at. Know what's behind you. Know what's on the side of you. Know what's coming towards you. Be careful, because I'm telling you, I was young and I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't follow my mind. And I'm just grateful to still be here, to still be able to tell this story and know that something wasn't right with that man. But I thank y'all, all my LJC family. I love y'all. I love y'all. And I just pray for all of y'all. I just pray for health, strength, healing, and everything that I can pray for y'all. I love y'all. And I thank y'all for watching. And please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I love y'all, my LJC family. Peace.